Hello students, we're on 4-9 and we're going to compare shift patterns, okay? We're going to look at whole number multipliers and decimal number multipliers. So I have the same number and I'm going to multiply this number by a whole number and by a decimal. We're going to look at the difference, okay? So when I multiply with a 10, I know that with the decimal, I send it to decimal island, so that's one place out, and now I'm going to multiply 36 times 10, which is just 36 times 1 with a 0 at the end. And it took one place for that decimal to go out to vacation, so one place to come back in. So the answer becomes 36. Let's take a look at what happened to that number 36. I started with 3.6 and it became 36. So that 3 that was in the ones place moved to the tens place. And that 6 that was in the tenths place moved to the ones place. So everything got 10 times bigger. Each number got 10 times bigger. And the digits, the 3 was here, and then it moved here, they shifted one place left, okay? The 3 went left. The digits moved left one place because I multiplied by 10. If I multiplied by 100, 3.6 by 100, that number would have gone 2 places to the left, okay? Let's take a look at this decimal number. I have the 36 and the 10. Again, my decimals will go to decimal island. I have 2 spaces, okay? And I'm multiplying 36 times 1, which is 36. And then I'm going to go 2 spaces back in. 1, 2. I'll put a 0 there. Now I'm looking at my original number. I had 3 and 6 tenths, and now I have 36 hundredths. So my 3 that used to be in the ones is now in the tenths place. My 6 that used to be in the tenths is now in the hundredths place. So it became 1/10 times as big as it used to be. I multiplied each number by a tenth or a tenth. Those are the same number, right? And they became 1/10 as great. So the digits shifted one place, and this time they went to the right. My 3 went here. So I want you to see that when you have whole numbers, your digits become greater and they move left. And when you have smaller decimals, your digits become a fraction as big as they used to be, and they move to the right. All right, now let's look at patterns in multiplication with powers of 10 and exponents. So I have the same number here, 4 tenths, and I'm going to multiply this 4 tenths by 10, then 100, and then 1,000. Okay, so 4 tenths is going to stay the same. And let's take a look at what happens to that 4 tenths as we multiply by 10, 100, and 1,000. So the first thing, 4 tenths times 10 is the same as saying 4 tenths times 10 to the 1 power, first power. So again, when I'm multiplying, I'm just going to look at the 4 times 10. I'm going to write that number down. 4 times 10 is 40. I'm not going to worry about the decimal. Now I know that it took one move for the decimal to go on vacation to decimal island, one move out, so it's going to do one move back in. It's going to come in, and that's basically just 4, right? Now, if I multiply it by 100, that's the same as saying 4 tenths times 10 times 10, because 10 times 10 equals 100, which is also the same as saying 4 tenths times 10 to the second power. Take a look here. The second power, 2 zeros, 2 zeros here, okay? So I'm just gonna remember, take out the decimal and just multiply 4 times 100, well, that's 400. And it took one decimal move for the decimal to go on vacation, so I'm gonna bring it back in with one decimal move, and it'll come in from there, and that's just like 40, right? With the decimal right there, that's 40. So at the last one, 4 tenths times 1,000, 1,000 is the same as 10 times 10 times 10, which is the same as 10 to the third power. Again, there's 3 tens here, 3 zeros here, 3 zeros here, and a 3 here. So it all correlates. 4 tenths times 1,000, I'm just going to multiply 4 times 1,000, which is a 4,000. And it took one decimal move for the decimal to go on vacation out. So let's bring it back in with one move, like that. So it's 400, okay? again, let's take a look at the correlation here. The exponent showed how many zeros there were in the number that it was asking you to multiply, okay? Now when we look at these two numbers and compare them, this is 7/100 times 10 to the second power, and this is 7 times 10 to the second power. For this one, again, I'm just not going to multiply with the decimal. It took 2 moves to get it out, and I'm just going to think 7 times 10, that's 70. Oh, actually there's 2 zeros here, so I'm going to put the 2 zeros, okay? Now it took 2 moves for the decimal to come out, so it's going to go 2 moves for it to come back in from vacation. So that just happens to be 7. The 7 used to be in the hundredths place, and it moved 2 spots into the ones place, okay? Looking at this, 7 times 10, there's no decimal here, so I don't have to send it on a vacation. 7 times 10, but to the second power, so that means 2 zeros, so I'm going to add 2 zeros. I'm not going to put a decimal in anywhere because there wasn't one to begin with. And this 7 is in the ones place, and it's moved now to the hundredths place, which is used to be here, and it moved 2 left and got greater. So they both moved 2 spots to the left, but the number is different. This is 7 and this is 700 because we started with a different number. So when you're multiplying, it's the same thing that's happening to both numbers. They're just different because we started with different